Um, I want to go back up to Ukraine. When you were on with Charlie, gosh, a couple of years ago now, time is a flat circle, and I think we're pretty prescient in speaking about the weaknesses of the Russian military. I think you were more because of your firsthand experience. I think more aware of the limitations, to say the least, that their military operation would have. You said the same thing about this. You wrote the same thing for us about this partnership with North Korea that has allowed them to have kind of additional men coming in to the battlefield. I'm wondering how you assess the state of play now with the specter of Donald Trump coming in, and whether you feel like that's changed at all, whether you think that Russia is maybe on a stronger footing, or I guess just broadly what you think the state of play is.
No, I think Russia is on the weakest footing they've been on since the start of the war began. I mean, truthfully, you've got Putin as a kleptocratic, authoritarian mafia boss who has destroyed his military. I mean, it's about 3/4 of his military, it's estimated, has been destroyed. His bond market just went flat yesterday. His economy is in the toilet. His GDP is a war footing. It's on a war footing. It's paying nothing but hopefully for regurgitation of more forces that are going to get destroyed on the battlefield. And now he's using North Koreans as his cannon meat, their equivalent term for cannon fodder. So nothing has changed in terms of the way they've conducted operations, other than getting more fierce and more diabolical and more criminal. So, that the potential for a Putin collapse and a Russian collapse, which is dangerous in and of itself, I think is much higher today than it was 3 years ago.
Wow.
The problem is, if support for Zelensky and the Ukrainians dry up, then we've got potentially another frozen conflict where Russia has been able to grab 20% of a sovereign territory and get away with it, and will potentially rebuild and grab more if they're allowed to do so.
It does seem insane that we being the West, would take our foot off the gas here at this moment, if what you're saying is right. If they're in such a weak position, for this to be the moment to say, let's negotiate, it's just a gift to Putin. It's like it would be to bail him out.
Yeah, I agree. Putin is not the kind of guy you negotiate with, for two reasons. First of all, he always wins. And secondly, he never lives up to his promises. He's a liar. So when you put them in a position of the Minsk Accord or the Normandy conference or anything like that, he has lied every single time. And even a week before the invasion, he was telling everybody he wasn't going to invade. So how do you trust somebody like that and say, oh yeah, we can move forward if we can just get him to the peace table and give him X amount of a Ukrainian territory and call it even? Well, that's not what the Ukrainian people deserve.
Yeah. Why do you say that the first is he always wins? Just because he doesn't negotiate in good faith and the other side does?
Yeah, he lies and doesn't negotiate in good faith, much like some other autocrats around the world.